Island. I live up island in Huntington. For those of you who are from up island, you don't know that that's what it's called. In fact, you know, up island. So this happens in delis all over the place at the moment. The handwriting on the wall. I see how the boys look at each other when the boss walks past and Sally looks nervous at the end of her shift. Standing on line at a bus stop in front of the bank waiting for the number 11 uptown, which shall take her from that waitress job, which even with tips and kiss and ass, it doesn't cover the cost of rent, gas, groceries, and electric, not to mention a babysitter, which you have to have. You have to have one of those even to get to work in the first place, and she probably makes more money than you do at baby formula too. And I see how the deli clerk goes deaf, dumb, and blind after the other guys have been let go. And he's the last guy pulling in a paycheck. And he's got to get that macaroni cooked and serve it too, and the shrinking mounds of egg salad and potato salad, and the long line at the counter of working men and women with no expressions on their faces. They don't much like to look at each other, just at the headlines on the papers, or down at their own shoes, or at someone else's floor, and go back to their own deep thoughts. I see how the newspapers shrink, and they stop telling the news. And the headlines are all about crimes and accidents and celebrities I never even heard of and scores of games I never watched. And they try to get us to hate each other instead of them because someone figured out that if the people know the real score, they'll take it to the streets and then there'll be real trouble. And if there's real trouble, the cops will be in the streets again with their billy clubs and their tear gas and their nightsticks. And even though the little kids still walk hand in hand through the park to school, and they don't even know that times are bad and hard and unfair, they just draw their breath in the winter air and they see it when it comes out again, all misted up and looking pretty and real good, their own breath, their own thin air. Makes them laugh and giggle. Makes them want to do it more. And even though my hands are too cold and my gloves to flex and unflex them, and the car won't crank, and I couldn't work a job for decent pay, even if there was one because my old bones couldn't stand it, and even though I hear people say, it's been like this before, and the country got through it that time, and we'll get through it again somehow, and fuck the rich people and the powerful people anyway, because rich people always get away with it until the grade's exposed and the finger pointing's done, and the bastards get their due, and when things settle down, there's new rich people and powerful people to take their place. And anyhow, in hard times, the common decency of the American people is not only restored, but it will prevail. The rough and tumble spirit of the American people will carry us through. I can still see the handwriting on the wall. Yeah. How lovely the earth when the poor are asleep, when the factories pause, and the engines have gone silent. When the dawn, quiet as the first dawn, quiet as green mountains, quiet as rock slides, waterfalls, warplanes, sirens, wakes the exhausted old men and the used up old women and their sons and their daughters to another day of pointless work. How lovely the earth with its multitude of flowers, with its multitude of laws, with its private property, with its iron bars, with its locksmiths, with its owners and prisoners, its cops, its robbers, its park benches and alleyways and slums, and all the magnificent politicians, so much damage to be undone, so many rooftops in the broiling sun, and the children of the poor under each one of them, learning to walk again in Daddy's shoes.